talking about sales follow-up today. All right, we are live everywhere. Here we go. Good morning, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the places. Here we go. And I wanted to do this topic because I heard from a lot of women who recently took part in a challenge I did, in a sales challenge I did, that they were struggling in this area. Let me just say good morning, Sierra. Good morning, Nancy, Mary. Good morning. Hi, ladies. Come on in. And let me just ask too. So if you're just joining live, we're talking about, I want to share 3 key tips for better sales follow-up today. So if you have questions in this particular area, please pop them in the comments, because as always, this is, it's way more fun for me. Well, this is very selfish, but it's way more fun for me if this is interactive and not just me blabbing at a screen. Kalua, good morning. I hope your vacation was amazing. So good. Okay, so who has questions on follow-up? And type them in the comments. Let me know, like, where do you feel like there may be challenges? Do you feel like you're pestering people? Do you feel like prospects aren't getting back to you? You know, and again, just for those of you who are like, where's my mindset? Where's my mindset? Wealth consciousness stuff. We're trying out a different schedule. I want to see if everyone likes it. Monday's more sales and tactical. And then Tuesday is more like podcasts, behind the scenes debrief. Wednesday through Friday is more mindset, wealth consciousness, all the things. So let me just check. I'm getting an error message. We're having trouble streaming to LinkedIn. Well, all right, LinkedIn. Well, then we're just not going to stream to you. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Kalua, your vacation was wonderful. Amazing. Linda. Hey, Wendy, Sierra. Oh, I love seeing all my ladies here this morning. Okay. So back to the point. What questions do you have on sales follow-up? I want to know. I want to speak to them. And while you are typing those in the comments, I was reflecting this morning while I was curling my hair, as all great reflections come to us, right? While we're doing our hair, while we're showering, while we're driving, whatever. I was like, why do people suck at follow-up sometimes? Like, why is this a challenge for us sometimes? And, you know, in my own life, I've actually always loved the follow-up piece. It's probably been one of my favorites, but I know times where I felt like I was not crushing it at the follow-up were a few different reasons. Thank you for the hearts. I love that. Oh, Sarah, it's so good to see you. You know, so why do we struggle with this? I think one of the main reasons is we make client source, right? Like we have a scarcity mindset with it where, oh my gosh, if this person doesn't buy from me, I'm not going to hit quota. I'm not going to hit my financial goals. It's all going to fall apart. And then we put pressure, right? We put pressure on them. And I've been playing. I had this, like, I don't know, you know, you get the download sometime. Sometimes I had this download recently that, like, pressure dilutes your power in many ways, not in every situation, but often pressure dilutes your power. And I want you to think about, in your own experience, whether you've been on the giving or receiving end of that sales pressure from somebody, how it made you feel. And did it make you want to buy more? Did it actually make you want to buy? Or did it turn you off and make you want to be like, no, like, even if I need this thing, I'm going to go find it from somebody else, right? And so we get it all mixed up when we forget how things really work. And this is where I do want to bring in this mentality piece of, you have to have an abundance mindset with your sales process, with your follow-up. If you're making clients source, if you're making clients God and making one particular person the one who's going to make or break your month, your reality, your financial future, you're giving them way too much power over your situation. Has anyone ever been there? I know I used to do that all the time, and it's not a fun situation for the client or for you. Linda's saying how to find creative ways to follow up instead of just checking back with you. Linda, that's a great question. That's one of my favorite things to work with clients on. So I can share, I'm happy to share a couple ideas here in this live. But yeah, that's huge, because to your point, checking back with you, it's like, does that work? Right? Does that actually work? And with any of this, I want you to think for yourself. I want you to start thinking for yourself. Let me just, remove LinkedIn. I'm getting so many error messages about LinkedIn this morning. We're just gonna, okay. You know, I remember back to both my corporate, when I was in corporate sales, and then when I did like more, what am I gonna say? When I did corporate sales training for a long time, like that didn't incorporate a lot of the mindset stuff we talk about. And it was just like, call a person every day until they say yes. And how many of us have had that training? And how many of us have tried that and got lackluster results and felt like crap the whole time you were doing it, right? And maybe it wasn't that extreme, but maybe that's, maybe it was just call them every other day, whatever the process was. And there was no creativity to it. There was no taking into account the other person's experience. It was just like it's a very forceful. And when I say the word masculine, this is not, I hope this doesn't come out of context. We all have masculine and feminine energy, but the masculine energy is more push force. And it's very much in that energy, which does not work well when it's all that. Does that make sense? Are you all with me? Laura, good morning. Antonia, am I saying your name correctly? Good morning, good morning, good morning. So we get it wrong because we don't think for ourselves. We make clients God, and we feel like we have to do things that don't feel good to us or to the client in a follow-up process. Linda's saying 7 touches to get your sale from corporate training. Yeah, which, and to the credit of that, I mean, research does show like it often takes more than one touch point for a client to say yes to you. So this is not, I'm not saying we throw that out here. But what I'm saying is you add back in your power, you add back in the emotional intelligence, you add back in how it would feel for you on the receiving end of that. And there's a more masterful way to do it, in my opinion. Good morning. Good morning. So yeah, and this is great dialogue. So thank you, Linda, for those questions. I really want to ask everybody who's here live this morning, pop your questions in about follow-up because I'm here for them. I'm here for them. So here are 3 key things that have really helped me with follow-up. One is, and it's kind of what we were just talking about, but it's having an abundance mindset. And I've got a great podcast episode coming out for you tomorrow with this really cool, he's actually one of the few men who have been on She Sells Radio so far, but his name's Jesse Tedisco, I think is how I say his last name. He calls himself Jesse T. Very, very, he's got a powerful life story. So the episode is more about building resilience because he's been through some stuff and he talks about how to overcome that. But we also talk about wealth consciousness and his mindset in that because he owns a wealth planning firm here in Atlanta. And his whole mindset with clients is, I need 100 clients at any given time for my financial goals, for my firm, for my family. It's not everybody. And how often, I know I've been there when I was younger in my career and I was operating out of pure scarcity mindset without even realizing it. How often do we feel like everyone has to be our client? And so I want to invite you today to step into your power and to realize that there are over 7 billion people on the planet. And I don't know what your goals are for client load this month, this year, this quarter, but I bet you don't need 7 billion people to hit your goals. How many do you need? Let me guess. For us at She Sells, it's like I take up to 100 a year under my wing to help them with their process. And it's like, that's the load that I feel like I can carry. That's the load, like that's the volume of women I want to work with. And it's not when we get grabby and we're like, oh my gosh, I need everyone to be my client. You step out of your power. Lori's saying, OMG, I feel it. Yeah, Lori, LinkedIn was not cooperating with me this morning. So you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah. We're talking about sales follow-up this morning, but with a little She Sells abundance mindset twist, if you will. So where was I going with that? So that's the first part. And please let me know what questions you have on this, or give me a heart if this resonates. Be in your power, get clear on who do you actually want to work with, because I bet it's not everybody. When we get into trouble is when we take on clients who aren't in alignment with us, with our belief system, with the way we're being called to serve just to hit a quota, right? And so I want to really encourage you. Thank you for the heart, Sierra. Lori saying, of course, yes. I want to encourage you to step into your power and realize that there's more clients on this planet than you could ever serve in your lifetime. And who do you want to work with? And then choose to follow up with them. Now, I know it's because I know some of you too who are here in corporate sales. So I know it's different, especially if you're given a book of business and it's like, these are the people that you need to follow up with. And here's what I've found, because I have a lot of clients in corporate. When you're hitting your numbers, it typically doesn't really matter. Like that's what, having been a sales manager myself, running my own company, like when you're hitting your numbers or you're exceeding your quota, usually your management's pretty happy. So I would encourage, like if it were me, and I know that what I say here may not be popular with every manager, but again, that's part of you owning your value system and realizing that not everyone has to be your client. I try to practice what I preach here is like, who do you jive with? Who do you feel in alignment with? When you talk to people, when you make those calls, when you make those visits, when you have a conversation, a discovery meeting, who lights you up? Who gets you excited? Who fits your ideal client profile, right? And being clear on who those people are, and if you're getting a lot of clients who are tough to work with, don't pay on time, nickel and dime you, then you need to look at one, what are you affirming every day about your clients? So what's your mindset? What's your self-worth around how clients show up around you and what you're available or not available to put up with? And two, do you have an ideal client requirement checklist? Like, do you have a checklist of when you're on a discovery call with someone, are you sitting back? We talked about this on the podcast last week. Are you sitting back and checking the box and say, does this person check the boxes for me? Do they have the funds to work with me? Are they willing to do what it takes to make it happen? Are they excuse makers? Like that's a no for me. Are they more committed to staying stuck than to their greatness? Like you need to be in your power with this process. Lori's saying people like the old me. Yeah. And I've been there too. That's why I share all this stuff because I've lived it and breathed it. Sierra is saying this is one of the biggest shifts I'm making right now. Yes. And you like getting so clear, so specific, knowing that there are more than enough, and I'm speaking specifically to you, Sarah, but also to everybody, knowing there are more than enough clients in your area, in your territory who want to work with you, who are perfect clients, but you will only see them when you start looking for them and believing they're there. So I've got to pull in my boy Wayne Dyer here, right? Like you will see it when you believe it, because why do we get like grabby scarcity mode? Because we don't believe that there's enough where we are. Am I right? So that's the first step, is get clear on who you want to work with. Thank you for the hearts. Get clear on who you want to work with and have an abundance mindset, my friend. Let me, all right. We're just going to remove on LinkedIn. Go away. All right, here we go. Okay. I can see comments now. Fabulous. All right, Michelle. You commented like 4 minutes ago. Beautiful. Okay. I was just talking to somebody about this. You just turned down 2 offers for that reason. Michelle, let me speak to that too. And Zahira, good morning, or actually good afternoon, I think, where you are. I'm so glad you're here. Michelle, that is so powerful. And it can feel challenging, especially as we all have a goal, right? We all have a sales goal for where we want to be. And if we're not there yet, it can feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to take everything. Right? Like I've got to take this, I've got to take that. But that's where I want to tie in universal laws, right? Vacuum law of prosperity. So the universe abhors a vacuum. So if you just take everything you get, and even if it doesn't feel in alignment with you, then there's no room for that ideal client to come in. I remember when I had, can I tell this story quickly? A lot of you know part of my own personal story, but anyway, end of last year, had just invested what for me was a lot of money, and it was 50 grand in a coach, and was like, oh my gosh, how am I even going to pay this back? I don't know. And then I started getting opportunities for clients, but they were with something that my heart wasn't really feeling called to do anymore. And they were good opportunities, like go work with this client who lives in Lake Tahoe and stay in her house over the weekend and help her build her brand and all. And it was like stuff that the old me would have been like, oh my gosh, it's a dream, but it didn't feel in alignment. And I knew if I said yes to it, even though it was money in the bank then, and it was good, that it would take away from my ability to focus on what I was really feeling called to create, which is what we're all doing here right now. And we have to be willing to say no to things that aren't in alignment, because we know clients aren't source. right? Who's with me? Like, we know that our clients aren't source. We know that when we're creating powerfully, when you're in your power, when you're in your full alignment, then it's like you can say no to stuff. And when I say stuff, I don't mean people or stuff, but you get what I mean. You can say no to opportunities that make your chest constrict, that feel like, oh, I don't know. Like if it's not a hell yes, it's a no in life. Okay. I want you to, like, if you're taking notes, write that down. Jan, good morning. Noticing the old mindset and working on shifting to the abundance mindset. Yes. And look, it took me a while. So you're in the perfect place. You're exactly where you need to be. Just fuel your brain with things that help you feel that abundance in your body. That's what you got to be really mindful of, what you allow in your consciousness or what you don't allow in your consciousness when you're in this journey. It's so important. The second piece, and this is so great. I love the conversation this morning, and I'm going to try to speed it up. I feel like I'm talking really fast. So let me actually just get present. But I've got two other things I wanted to share that maybe they don't need to be shared today. So let me just pause and be with you. Lori, can you say it again? Yes. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Let that be your guide in life for everything. Clients, opportunities, romantic partnerships, ways to spend your time, ways to not. You are worth more than allowing scraps in your life. This really comes down to self-worth and seeing yourself as worthy of the most ideal clients, opportunities, money, wealth, abundance, like everything that you desire, seeing yourself as you really are. Thank you for the heart, Kalua. I love, we talked about it in our Feeling is the Secret book study, but he says, this is a rough approximation, but the only thing holding you back from what you want is your inability to see yourself as you really are. That's it. So you must see yourself as I know we got a lot of women here live today, but the woman or man who, thank you so much for the hearts, who works with this type of client, who is deserving and worthy of abundance and wealth and prosperity and respect from their clients and from people in their lives, because they give it back, right? And so we must start to see ourselves as that. Let me check. Zahira is saying, I know there are enough clients for my products, but sometimes I feel stressed just to think why nobody's buying. Zahira, great point. So the reason you're feeling stress is because you're thinking about nobody buying. And so, Zahira, I would send me a DM. I've got something I'm doing this Thursday that I think would be really powerful for you. It may be Friday your time. I wonder if I can type it in the comments and if it'll just go there. Well, Zahira, send me a DM because there's something I'm doing a training on Thursday that is going to teach you more about that mind-body connection. You feel stress because you're thinking a lie right now. So our body goes into a negative emotional state when we're thinking a thought that's not true for us. Okay, that's why. So you must learn to think about what you want, not what you don't want. And it's neural pathways, it's conditioning. So it takes some fierceness. It takes, like, all of you who have been with me for a while, you know this. I'm on this journey. Like, we're all in this journey together, right? I don't know that the process is ever done as long as we have thoughts and a mind and are breathing. It's probably something we're always working on. But Zahir, you've got to shift to start thinking about what you want, not what you don't want. And when you do, you'll notice that you feel, even if it hasn't happened yet for you in your business, you feel more calm, more at ease. That's when you're in that receptive state. That's when you're in that mode where the ideas and the inspiration flow to you to follow up powerfully, to do that post that's going to bring in those next clients. So you must start to see yourself as the person who has a wait list of clients. Okay? Because again, you will always get what you believe to be true for yourself. Your outer world will always match your inner reality. This is the neurology of it. It's your subconscious programming will determine what you do and what you don't let into your life. Are you all with me? I feel like hopefully this is helpful this morning. Do we have questions on any of this? Heather, good morning. Remax in Motion. Remax, where are you based out of? Which Remax are you? Good morning. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. So great question, Zahira. So here's, I'll share one other thing. And then I think we're going to I've got a team meeting in a few minutes, but I want you to think about, and this is where you can really, really, the alignment of the masculine and the feminine is so important in everything in life, including your sales follow-up process. I got a DM, or not a DM. I got a video chat from a client last week, and she's like a corporate hustler, go-getter, badass who's also launching her own business in the health space. And she had just closed a big deal for her corporate job. And she was saying that she incorporated so much of what we talk about here at She Sells, which is feeling into when was the right time to press the client and when was the right time to sit back and let them do what they needed to do. How, like, she went much deeper into relationship building with this person. And she was actually getting pressure from some of her higher ups to like, close it. And that didn't feel right to her. And she was really leaning into more of her feminine, which was the knowing, right? The knowing of like, this is a seed that I've planted. I'm watering it right now. If I try to rip it up right now, it's going to kill the plant. Just to, and so like, if we go into that scarcity or push mode, which is, I found is so common in not every sales organization for sure, thank goodness, but in a lot, at least a lot that I've been a part of. And so she let her intuition guide, and she actually led with her feminine in this. And she like held back the pressure from her higher ups to say, it's not time yet, but here's what's going on. And in the process, closed a much bigger deal, built an amazing relationship with $1 million plus upside as well with this particular client. And it was because she led with her feminine, and she thought about what would feel good to me. So I want you to think about in your follow-up, in your sales follow-up, Coach Leah, good morning. I love seeing you here. Good morning. She thought about like, what would feel good to me? And so you can really tune in and trust yourself. Like, what would feel amazing to you if someone was following up with you? And I know I don't like being pushed into things. I don't like being forced into things. I like feeling like someone really cares about me. I like feeling like they are personalizing things to me. So Linda, to your point of like, how do you do things that are creative? Personalize it to people. Like, send them a video message, send them a handwritten letter, like and there's all sorts of other ways to do it. We don't really have time for that this morning, but like, personalize things. So think about what would feel good to you. I'm just going to stop right now because we've got so many good comments, and I want to just close up before I have to hop off for my team meeting. Let me see. Zahira, you've sent a DM. Oh, you DM'd on Instagram. Great. Okay, Zahira, I or someone on my team will get back to you today, and we'll send you that. By the way, for everyone who is interested, I'm hosting a workshop. I know some of you here are registered. I'm hosting a private workshop this Thursday for women who want to really make the second half of 2021 just phenomenal for them, from a sales, from a wealth, from an income, like, and just living your most incredible life standpoint. So we're filling up really fast. We've got a couple spaces left though. So send me a DM if you want information on how to register for that. Nancy saying, even though it does really apply to my situation, everything you share here is helpful. There's something you're taking away from your experience of teaching. Oh, you're so welcome, Nancy. I appreciate that. I'm so glad. Yeah. It's all things that I have learned from amazing, amazing, amazing mentors myself. We get to pay it forward, right? So are we good? Are we complete? I have your kind of third bonus, and I do have to hop off for a quick. Oh, Jan, hey, how are you? But have the right systems in place to support you. So this is where, again, we can lean into masculine. Masculine is more about the systems, the structure, etc. So calendar out your follow-up, like have time on your calendar for follow-up. Set, if it's someone you really want to work with and they like need to go back and do due diligence or do their process, whatever it is, like set a follow-up meeting on your calendar with them instead of going into the chase. So there's little things, but it's the blend. I think that's like, where are we landing? How are we landing the plane here? We're landing the plane it's the blend of the masculine and the feminine. And that's how you're in your power with your follow-up. So it's not all the push, push, push force. It's not all like, let me just sit back and let it all come to me. It's both. It's both. As with everything powerful in life, it's both. Okay. So here, you're so welcome. All right, my loves. I'm wishing you all a beautiful Monday. It was so good to see you today. Tomorrow, I'm excited because I'm going to share some of my biggest ahas from the podcast this week, which was on building resilience. So especially if you're going through something that feels tough, if you're going through something that feels challenging, if you're going through you feel like you're going through the initiation, thank you so much for the hearts, towards what you want, like tune in. And I also will be available to speak to you directly if you have something you're going through that feels hard. And I'm here to help. So I love you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wishing you a beautiful Monday, and I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.